Welcome to Module 1, the word screen. In this, the first module of your course, I want to introduce you to all the main elements that make up the word screen in which you'll be working. You'll learn what the different elements of the screen are called, and this is important as they're terms that I will be using throughout the rest of the course. We'll also look at how we can customise the screen to personalise it for our needs. This module consists of 3 parts. So, part 1, let's look at how we can start Word itself and get you familiar with the screen. So depending on the operating system you're using, you'll need to either go down to your Start button in the corner or your Windows button, and you can locate Word from there. It may well be that you need to look for Programs and then Microsoft Office. Using this version of Windows, I can click on a letter A and then W, and I could load Word by clicking on Word 2016 down at the bottom there. What I've actually done, however, on this particular computer is I've right-clicked, because I know I'm going to be using it a lot. I've added it, I've pinned it to my taskbar, which is the bar that runs along the bottom of the screen. So I can actually load Word, and this is a really good shortcut. Pin it to the taskbar from that list, and then you can just do one click in order to load it. So as Word loads, we get taken the minute it's loaded into this screen on the left hand side. If you've opened anything and worked with anything recently, you would see them listed under recent, and you could click on them in order to work with them. Or you can open other documents, but I'll be talking about that in more detail in module 2. For now, we're going to click on blank document, just one click, and it should load a blank document for us. Now I'm going to give you a tour of the screen just to make you aware of what various elements are called. So up here at the top of the screen, we've got the title bar. It tells us the title of the document and the title of the product itself. To the left-hand side, we have something called the Quick Access Toolbar. I have added here shortcut tools for jobs that I perform a lot in Word, such as opening documents, such as printing. And we'll be looking at how we can do that in the second part of this module. Over in the top right-hand corner, you've got the option to sign in if you have got an Office account. You've got options to modify the ribbon. We'll be looking at that shortly. And then I'm sure you're used to working with these. We can minimize Word down if we want to see our desktop. We can go down back to Word at the bottom and bring it back. We can click on the Restore button to make Word medium-sized. Then, of course, you can move it around if you wish to, or resize it accordingly. And then I think most of us prefer to work with maximized. Okay, the cross I'm not going to click on because that's going to close down Word, and I don't want to close Word down right now. So that's the title bar, and the Quick Access Toolbar. That's one to really watch out for. It's very, very useful. Underneath that, you've got this area called the ribbon. The ribbon is made up of tabs. Most of the time, particularly on this module, we'll be living under the Home tab. But if you wanted to insert a picture, you could go to Insert Pictures, for example. If you wanted to change the layout of your document at all, then under Layout, you would be able to, for example, change the orientation of your page from portrait to landscape. See how well we're shown? What will happen is the end result in these diagrams. So it's very, very user-friendly. It's very graphical. Now, that's the ribbon. And again, I'm going to talk about that in more detail shortly. Running down the left-hand side of my screen and across the top, you'll see the ruler. However, let me warn you now, when you first buy Microsoft Word off the shelf, the ruler is not turned on. We need to turn it on by going to View and ticking Ruler. As you can see, I've now turned it off. Take my word for it, the ruler is really, really useful. So it should be one of the first things you do when you start working with Word. Go to View and Ruler to turn it on. Okay, so then we have the main document screen itself. On the right-hand side, we have our scroll bars for moving up and down within the document. We can't move to the left and the right at the moment because we can see the width of the page. However, if you wish to change that at all, you can down here click on the plus in order to expand the width of your document to make it easier to work with and easier to see. This area across the bottom of the screen is called the status bar. It tells us lots of status information. So for example, the page number and how many pages we've got in total. Okay, and do always look for the prompts that appear and you will learn something from reading them. So it tells us here it's the current page number in the document, and we can click here or tap to open something called the navigation pane, okay? Which, if you do that, you'll get thumbnails in a multi-page document appearing down the left-hand side to allow you to move quickly through the document, to quickly navigate through the document. I now wish to turn this off, so I can go up to the corner and just click on the cross of the navigation pane and it will disappear. So the status bar can tell you lots of useful information. It's particularly useful if you're a student and you're writing a dissertation and you need to be limited to a certain number of words in a document. That will tell you how many words you're typing and so on. So this is the word screen. Just to recap, we have our title bar with our window control buttons at the top and our ribbon control button. We have our quick access toolbar with quick tools for jobs that we carry out a lot. We have the ribbon starting with file, but do watch out because when you click on file, you'll see the ribbon disappears. It takes you into what's called backstage view, where you can carry out operations such as saving changes, printing your document, closing your document, going into the options for Word itself to make default settings to Word, perhaps the language it's using, the default font, and so on. So that's in options. So file itself, as I've said, is called backstage view. To get away from the file backstage view and back to the ribbon, click on the arrow at the top or press escape on the keyboard. And really, I would say that think of this as your ribbon when you see all the graphics across the top, and to navigate around within the ribbon, you can either click on different headings, oh, sorry about that slight delay, or if your mouse is broken and you wish to use the keyboard, you can press the Alt key and then follow the letter or numerical instructions at the top. So to go to layout, I could now press P. To change the orientation, I could press O, and then down arrow for landscape, and then enter to accept. So in order to use the ribbon, as well as clicking on elements in it, you can press Alt and follow the on-screen keys or numbers. If you don't wish to use them, you can either press Alt again or press escape. So let me come back to the Home tab, Alt and H, and then escape. Escape to remove those shortcuts. I'm going to talk more about the ribbon and the quick access toolbar in part 2 of this module. But do remember one last tip, the ruler. Turn it on by going to view and keep it turned on. It really will help you as you work with your documents. So now you've got an idea of how to start Word, what it looks like when you open it, and you've got an idea of the screen as a whole. We've looked at some of the elements. But in the next part, we're going to go into more detail and more specifics.